Hi, this is Dave from Priority Bicycles, and I'm here to help you build your new Priority Coast. Now, before we get started, we always recommend that you either have your bicycle professionally assembled, or if you choose home assembly, make sure and have a professional bicycle mechanic safety check your bike before taking it on the road. Now let's get started. First, with a pair of scissors, cut open the box. Inside your box, you're going to have your front wheel, front fender, seat and seat post. Then you'll have an accessories box. Inside that accessories box, you're going to have your manuals. Now's a good time to stop and read your manuals before proceeding with the assembly. You'll also have two pedals. They'll have stickers on them, right and left, and also have R and L stamped on the pedal axle. Right is the drive side of the bike, and left is the non-drive side. Left is also reverse threaded. As for tools, you're going to have a 5 and 6 millimeter Allen wrench. The 5 millimeter is used for your seat post. The 6 millimeter is used for your stem. The 4 millimeter Allen is used for your front fender. You'll also have a 15 millimeter wrench and a 10 millimeter wrench. Some of our coasts come with a slightly different toolkit. If you have these three wrenches, you can ignore the multi-use wrench. It's a good wrench to keep with you when you're riding if you do need a multi-purpose wrench, but we will not be using it for the assembly. If you have this 15 millimeter wrench, make sure and use the open side for both your front wheel and your pedals. And this 10 millimeter wrench will be used for the brake removal, reinstallation with fender, and brake adjustment. Start by turning your fork so that the front brake faces forward. Ensuring that your stem is inserted at least below the minimum insertion mark, tighten. Grab your front wheel. Pay attention to where the K-Shield logo is. You're going to want that to be on the drive side to match the rear wheel. Loosen each axle nut significantly so that you're going to be able to easily slide it through the fork. Also, take each washer and push it towards the axle nut. Those are going to be on the outside. Now, pick up the front of the bike, push down until you have the front wheel squarely in the dropout. You're going to feel some resistance when you push the brake pads over the front tire. That's normal. At first, tighten by hand. Then grab your 15 millimeter wrench and over the front of the bike, ensuring that your wheel is center, tighten the axle nuts. Next, insert your seat into the seat post, making sure that it's in at least as far as the minimum insertion mark, and tighten using your 5 millimeter wrench. Grab your right pedal. It should have an R sticker on it and an R on the axle. Now, turn your right pedal standard to the right to tighten. You'll always tighten by pushing towards the front of the bike. Next, grab your left pedal, and please know that the left pedal is reverse thread. So instead of turning to the right, you're going to turn to the left. Again, turn towards the front of the bike, which will be to the left. Now, to install your front fender, start by removing the 10 millimeter nut on the back of the brake, and while holding one of the washers in place, just the contoured washer, take your front fender and slide it in from the rear, ensuring that the struts are going around the wheel. Once on, put the additional washer and nut. Before you tighten this down, ensure that your brake pads remain centered. Grab your 4 millimeter wrench and use it on each side. Once your fender's on, ensure that your wheel spins smoothly. Next, we'll want to do a front brake adjustment. Using your 10mm wrench, ensure that both brake pads are centered between the rim so that they're moving equal distance. You may need to loosen and tighten the brake. You also may need to tighten the cable pull. Loosen the 10mm nut, push the brake pads closer in, and tighten. You want to make sure that when you depress the brake lever, that your pads hit the brake before the lever hits the grip, and that the pads are not rubbing on the tire or rim and are equally centered on the rim surface. Using a pump, you'll want to now make sure that your tires have about 40 psi of pressure in them. Please note that a pump is not included with this bike. Once complete, we recommend that you go through every bolt on the bike and make sure that it's properly tightened. Now that your bike's complete, if you did home assembly, we do recommend that you bring your bike to a professional bicycle mechanic for a safety check before you begin riding. Enjoy your new bike, and if you have any questions, please let us know.